Your secret weapon to beat AI is emotional intelligence. So, a lot of people are talking about how AI is taking all the jobs, and I've seen so many techies being chewed up and spit out by the market, losing their careers, losing hope, asking, what can I do? I can't find any jobs anymore, and really feeling lost. And there's also a lot of people from the younger generation, fresh grads, who are also losing hope because of this. So today I'm going to talk about how to use emotional intelligence to solve this problem, and how is this reflecting in society and affecting our future as a whole as well. First, my name is Jay. I'm the founder of Executive Leap, and I created this series to show people how AI is reshaping the job market and society in general. And with the rise of AI, a lot of people are starting to ask the bigger questions, right? So when people start to lose their jobs, or they have this kind of existential crisis, we start to ask, what do I do with my life? Why am I here? What is the purpose of my life? What is the purpose of humanity even? And I've been there. And when we start to ask these big questions, I find that people take two different directions. You either go down a rabbit hole and start to lose hope and you just give up, and that ends up in a very dark place. And I've been there. And the other choice is to look inwards and start reflecting and try and understand ourselves. And to me, this is the only way that we can overcome the evolution of AI and how it's affecting the job market. And this is because when you start to look inwards, you start to recognize that there's so many things that you don't even know about yourself. And when you start to ask yourself the difficult questions, you start to learn and have insights about your psychology that help you understand how the world works. And when you understand how the world works, you start to be able to show up and apply those in the real world. So the first thing that you need to develop is state awareness. So state awareness is being more aware of your emotions. How are you feeling at this moment in time? When you're thinking about something, does it make you fired up? Does it make you sad? Does it make you angry? Does it trigger you? When you develop this state awareness, you start to track your thoughts and how they're affecting your emotions. And this is how you work your way towards using your emotions as a guide to understand the different beliefs that you have. And you start to realize that there's so many different beliefs and feelings and thoughts and emotions that you want to go through to get insights about yourself. So that's really the journey of self-discovery. Now, how does this practically translate into the real world? So to me, I've been doing this for about 12 years, worked with different mentors, coaches, and therapists to understand myself, because I went through a lot of trauma, and being a sensitive person, I always wanted to make sense of everything that's happening in my life, from divorce to grief to losing loved ones, etc. And what I realized that over the years, one of my biggest challenges was, after my divorce, getting back into the dating life. I was being sexless for 18 months without relationships, feeling so lonely, and that was pretty troubling for me. One of the biggest transformations I was able to do in that chapter was going from that to being able to date the best partners I've ever dreamt of dating. And I was able to do this by showing up authentically. I decided I want to show up being authentic. I'm not going to overthink my thoughts. I'm going to be able to express myself and show all sides of myself as well. Now, how did I do this? It's not a magical trick. Self-discovery and inner reflection is what allowed me to do that. Because right now, if you decide to say, oh, okay, I'm going to be authentic, but who is me? What is my authentic self, right? So if you don't know how to answer that, if you don't know what your authentic self is, what your real self is, you ain't gonna know how to show up authentically. You have nothing to show. And this is where self-discovery comes into play. And you start to monitor your feelings, your emotions, your reactions, and start to understand yourself better. And this is how you start to build an image of your authentic self. You feel like, oh, this is me. So it's really the process of remembering who you truly are, your core self. And that's a lifetime journey, because the more that we grow up, the more that we learn stuff from society that we weren't supposed to learn, and that is not aligned with our true self. So we need to forget that and remember who we truly are. And that is really the journey. So when you start to discover your true self, you define your authentic self, and you start to apply it in the real world, then you start to be able to attract the right opportunities. Because when I did this also in my career, I created amazing results as well. Because everything that reflects in your relationships can reflect in your career and your business too. And one thing to look out for here, I see a lot of people go into this rabbit hole of perpetual healing. That's also a mistake. Some people quit their jobs and start traveling and they just perpetually healing and self-discovering. That's also another rabbit hole you don't want to fall into, because the process is you go, you do the healing, you do the discovery, and come back into the real world and apply that. And if you do it too much, for me, I had to go into sort of a spiritual rehab to come back and integrate into the real world. So you want to do it in kind of a dance. You do some healing and you come back and you apply it. And you don't stay in one place for too long. And it's always a dance and it's a lifetime journey.